What's up, HyperFast Nation? On this episode of the show, I interviewed an amazing agent who made the transition from being a teacher earning $50,000 a year to a real estate agent with over $500,000 in gross commission income in just a few short years. Welcome to the show, Brooke Coughlin. Welcome to the show today, Brooke. How are you doing?
I'm great, Dan. How are you?
I am doing great. So I'm normally on the same coast as you, but today I'm out in the West Coast, so we've got the whole Oregon to Massachusetts thing going, so that's pretty cool.
Thank God for technology, right?
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. You've got an amazing story, I know, going from being a teacher to selling real estate to teaching others how to do it and building an amazing team, and a book is coming out. So a lot to talk about, but why don't you give our listeners and viewers a quick background on your story and how you got to where we are today.
Okay, thank you. Life is a crazy journey. If you asked me if I was going to be where I am today at 28 years old, if you asked me this 2 years ago, I would say you're crazy. But life just plays its way out. So I was a seventh grade teacher for 4 years. I went to school to be a teacher. I thought I was going to be a teacher until I retired at 65 with a pension. That was just the road that I was heading on. I came from a family of educators. My dad was a principal, my mom was a teacher, and I was just going to follow in their footsteps. That's all that I ever knew. And when I was in college, I actually started a cleaning company. I wanted to make a little bit of beer money on the side here and there. So I started a cleaning company, and it was just myself, and I was going to clean local people's houses after my classes were done. In between basketball, I played college basketball as well, um, and it was great because it was very flexible. I worked for myself, and I made the schedule, got some money in my pocket. Life was amazing. When I went to graduate from being a teacher, I was like, oh my gosh, I started this whole little cleaning company. I was the only employee. How am I going to give this up to become a teacher and make $50,000 a year? So,
Mm.
going off of that, I hired my first employee ever to try to teach, start a business, keep my cleaning company going. Hopefully, me just being the manager, but having ladies out there cleaning for me. I had absolutely no idea what I'm doing, full transparency. And my first ever cleaner that I hired was actually accused of stealing a diamond necklace before I had insurance, before I had anything like that even
Mm.
lined up. So did my employee steal the diamond necklace? I have absolutely no idea. Could that client have just wanted money in her mailbox? Potentially. But right then and there, I could have given up the entrepreneurial life and said, I'm just going to stick to being a teacher. Instead, I fired that employee. I put a check in the mailbox for that client and never heard from her again. And then I decided to start over and do everything correctly. Get insurance, vet my employees, have an LLC made, a whole 9 yards. This cleaning company itself actually leads me into getting into real estate. So I started this cleaning company. I was a seventh grade teacher doing all of that fun stuff all together. And one day after school, I was at a cleaning quote in Belchertown, Massachusetts. And I was taking this client around her house, showing her everything that we would do, how much it would cost. And she looked at me and she said, Brooke, do you have any interest in real estate? And I'm like, huh. I like looking on realtor.com, Zillow, driving around with coffee on Saturday morning looking at houses, but interest in real estate, yeah, sure. And little did I know they owned a brokerage.
Mm.
And she said, Brooke, you'd be fantastic at real estate. All you need to do is take this course, pass this test, and then come work with us. And I was like, okay, if there's no timeline, no constraints, why not? I'll add it to my resume. Well, I started the course. It took me a tad bit longer to pass the test because my focus was definitely in many different directions. But once I passed my test, I joined her team and started selling real estate and absolutely fell in love with it. Um, I was doing it part-time for about a year and a half before I started realizing that I was selling real estate instead of really teaching seventh graders during the day. And I thought to myself, I'm like, one, this is so unfair to my seventh graders because I'm not giving them my full attention. And two, this is so unfair to my clients who are buying and selling their biggest asset in the world, and I can't answer them from 7:30 to 2 pretty much. Um, so I made the very rash decision to give my principal a 2-month heads up and a notice. And I said, after Christmas break, I'm not going to be coming back. And I remember sitting there very scared, very nervous because my teaching salary was $1,400 every 2 weeks. And, that paid for my car, that paid for my condo, that paid for my groceries. And to jump into something that really you only eat what you kill was so scary. But if I never took that
Mm.
leap, I would never be where I am today.
Was that a nerve-wracking time for you, or how did you, you know, how did you manage your emotions during all of that transition?
Oh my, it was a lot. I knew in the back of my head that I had a cleaning company. So I did have money to fall back upon. Money was coming in one way or another. But it it motivated me to to do more, to be better type of ordeal. And I did wait until I had clients lined up so I could see closings coming to know that my
Right.
commissions were coming in prior to just jumping in it and crossing my fingers and saying good luck. So I did wait until I had, let's say, 5, 6 closings lined up. I knew those commissions would be more than my entire year teaching salary. And then I just decided to
Mm.
start putting my focus fully into real estate itself.
And how many years ago is this when you made this
Um,
move?
this Christmas would be 3 years.
Okay, so
So
just
I've
two and a
only
half
been,
years
uh,
ago.
yeah, I've only been in real estate full time for about 2.5 years.
And what did you end up for the first 12 months? Like after you cut off the other businesses and jobs, like what did you sell that first 12 months when you were doing this full time?
First year, oh, I have it all on my Google Drive. I'm trying to pull it up in my brain too. That first year, I think I closed 12 houses, which salary equated to, I believe, just shy of 6 figures. Which,
Okay.
as a teacher, I mean, I was bringing $1,400 every 2 months, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And you're in charge of your own destiny. So I went from 12 houses that first year to the next year, I went to about 30 to the following year. I closed 64 houses last year. So I went from just being part time to closing 64 houses, $33 million worth of real estate in a 2.5 year time span.
And then
And
now today,
yeah.
what does your business look like? In terms of your own production, your team, every like.
Yeah, of course. So this year, this is going to be my third year. I'm on track to sell $40 million worth of real estate. That's going to be over 75 transactions. And I have partnered up with this fantastic agency who help me um, take all of my tips, my ideas, and everything like that and give it to other agents to be successful as well. So I have a book coming out called She Closes Deals, where it gives all my secrets, all my tips, all my tricks away for other agents who are just getting in the business or who want to 10x their business. Um, they will literally have a blue book, script by script, of everything I did to become as successful in the industry that I am today.
And then at what point did you start through all of this? It's only been 3 or so years, I guess. At what point did you start building out a team or hire, getting other agents or building out, hiring admin or however you've built? Like when did you start doing that?
I started doing that when I realized that I could not do it all by myself. And
Right.
leverage was extremely important. And one of my cons with myself that I had to come to terms with was that I can only do so much. I'm a control freak. I like my hands in every pot. I like to be in charge of things. But once I let go of the reins a little bit and let more people in, other people can do it even better than me in different ways, and they bring different things to the table. So yourself, you can only go so far, but with the team,
Hmm.
you can soar.
Who was the first team member you brought on?
Um, I have an admin, so the
Right.
admin handles everything, day to day transactions, paperwork, and I think that was most important in the beginning, just to help keep me organized. Um, I do work for a brokerage right now, so I'm not the broker. I have my broker's license, and there are agents in my brokerage who help me out on a regular basis and do things for
Sure.
referrals. Um, but long term, my plan is to have my own brokerage and have multiple agents underneath me growing my brand, whatever that ends up being in a few years. Um, but right now I am 28, and just growing my business and also trying to help other people grow theirs as well.
Well, I like that you went out and got hired an admin first because a lot of agents will try and get like a buyer's agent, or they're typically like afraid of the salary or overhead and they want someone on commission, but then you have the problem of you still have all the admin duties and responsibilities, and someone has to do them. And by the way, they have to do it for for two agents.
Right,
So you end up still having to do all the stuff that an admin could do, and times two. So
right.
I
And
applaud
time
you
is
for
money.
that, because a lot of agents, I think, make the mistake of adding agents before they build the admin and the infrastructure.
Right. One thing I'm learning is to slow down, do one thing right before jumping to the next. Building those roadblocks, before just jumping in. That's something that I've learned in a short amount of time too.
So tell
But
us tell us more about the book. Like what's in the book? What can people expect to learn when it comes out?
yeah, okay. So the book itself is a blueprint of everything that I have gone through to get me to where I am today. So from making a $50,000 salary to just in real estate, selling, buying, selling last year, making over $500,000, which is fantastic in a short amount of time. And I have laid out everything that I do to keep my business running successfully. I've also laid out scripts. A lot of times I have younger, newer agents reaching out to me saying, Brooke, here's the situation. How would you
Mm.
respond? How would you go about this? So I have 50 plus scripts that I give out free of different scenarios of how I would respond, which has been very helpful for newer, younger agents. Negotiation tactics. In this world, like, not only do we sell real estate, but we're also selling ourselves. So we're going into these listing appointments where sellers are also meeting with 4 or 5 other agents. Why are you the best one, the best fit to sell my house? So I share all of those details on how I win those listing appointments, how I get top dollar for my clients, all tips and tricks, and also mindset. There's a whole part of the book on mindset and believing in yourself and everything that I do to have got me from where I was to where I am today.
And so you say you're giving the scripts out for free. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, scripts. I'm giving scripts out for free. That's actually on social media now. All that anybody would have to do would go on my social media page and either DM me or comment on one of my posts with the scripts and just say scripts, and it will literally be sent to your inbox. Providing value, giving people a little taste of what they would see in the book itself. For free.
Awesome. And yeah, since you mentioned it, how do people connect with you on social?
On social, on Instagram, you could find me. My handle is Brooke E. Coughlin. I've been working really hard to grow that account. I post there all the time. My current deals, what's going on, what's coming on the market. And then I'm also on TikTok, Brooke Coughlin Realtor on TikTok as well.
Awesome. What, if any, changes have you seen in your business or just interactions with buyers and sellers since all of the NAR settlement, stuff has hit the news the last few months, and those changes are coming in next couple months here. So how has that impacted your business, and what types of conversations are you having with buyers and sellers now?
I mean, this NAR lawsuit had, in the beginning, had everybody up in flames. But I like change because with change comes growth and comes adversity, and the the top are going to soar and the bottom might fall off
Mm.
type of ordeal. Um, it's not going to be a massive change other than the fact that we can't advertise that sellers can pay buyers agents commissions. So with my sellers, I'm still having these conversations with them that for the past X amount of years, sellers technically are paying buyers agents fees. That's just the way it is. But we also need these buyers agents because they're the ones bringing the buyers to your property, giving you whatever it is for your house. They're paying for it themselves. So that's typically what it was prior to. The sellers were paying for it. Now we just can't advertise that. So to my buyers, and none of this has gone into effect yet, which is great. On MLS, before I show any house, I look to see what the commission is, and only once or twice have I seen zero. So it's not in full effect yet. But with my buyers, I also have the conversation of we can ask for everything and anything. If the answer is no, we also just need to be prepared that that will also be an additional fee on your end. You're paying for it one way or another, whether that's in the purchase price of the house when the seller's taking care of that, or whether that's going to be rolled into your mortgage for 30 years. So it's just really how you paint the picture to both sides, either side. But as long as we stay calm, cool, and collected, it's change, and change is inevitable.
Have sellers, I'm just curious, have sellers brought it up to you? And, because a lot of the headlines in the news were, and even like what the president said, were kind of, sellers no longer have to pay. Well, the truth is they never had to pay, but are
Right.
sellers, I'm just curious if sellers are, maybe coming to you and saying like, hey, I heard we don't have to pay buyers agents anymore, or like, has
Yeah.
that come up at all?
It has come up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? This is commissions. So, I mean, on this forum, we could probably talk about commissions. It- Even like when I first started, I would do bare minimum. I'd do 4% and think this is fantastic. But with my growth and with everything, I do charge a premium just because you're going to get premium service from top to bottom. So, even in these situations, I could say, okay, my commission is 6%. That 6% is going to take care of myself, and that 6% is also going to take care of a buyer's agent. Buyers might come once this is totally removed from MLS. Buyers might come with offers where you are not responsible for paying buyer commissions. So you might save 2% sellers, which is fantastic. But I would like you to allot 6% to the side, knowing that you're taking care of my commission, which is 4, and buyers agents commissions, which is 2. If we get offers where it says buyers to pay their own agents' commissions 2%, we walk away extremely happy. But if they ask for it, that's just the way it's been for the past X amount of years. So we should be prepared for that as well. So allot 6% to the side. If that's what you end up paying, that's the service fee. But if buyers come with offers where they're going to pay their own, that's another home run for us.
Yeah, so I think going back to what you said earlier, the higher skilled agents are going to continue to do well, and perhaps there'll be even more separation and between higher skilled and lower skilled agents, and the agents that aren't doing as much, they may lose market share. Some of them may get out. Is that kind of what
Yes.
you're thinking as well?
I feel very much the same on that. But I also think it's super important to educate the new agents in the field of what's going on, because if on MLS, if it does not say buyer's agent to make 2% or 2.5%, that needs to be built into the offer, or the agent doesn't necessarily get paid. So I think it's so important that newer agents are aware of what's going on to take care of themselves in these circumstances.
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with you. I think if you're newer, obviously education is important, and even if you're not, like this is just an opportunity to upgrade upgrade your skills and get into that group that will probably gain market share and
Right.
out of the group that might lose market share.
Right, of course. And ever since, I just find it so funny. Ever since all these Netflix documentaries come out, like they're selling sunsets, buying Beverly Hills, all those fun things. Everybody and their mother wants to become an agent because it looks fun. Social media makes it look incredible, but it's hard. It's not easy by any means. So even like with my book itself, I'm sharing the secrets. And when I'm sharing the secrets, just like I'm not a cook, my husband cooks. I do not cook, but I'm like I could give you my recipe, and we're not gonna make it the same way. You can take what you learned from me and go make it your own. Do you know what I mean? But this is what worked for me.
Right.
Okay.
Well, really exciting. Before we wrap up, I always like to end with a hyper fast round if you're ready for a couple rapid fire questions and answers here.
I am ready.
All right. What is your biggest piece of advice to a new real estate agent?
My biggest piece of advice would be to find a mentor. Find somebody that you can ask every and any question to. And if it's not an actual mentor, find a group, a community like She Closes Deals where you can express any questions, comments, or concerns, and people would get back to you with great advice.
All right. What's the biggest mistake you see experienced real estate agents making?
Selling themselves short. I would say not necessarily charging what you deserve type of thing just to get deals done.
All right. If you had to start all over and it was in a new market where you didn't know anyone, um, no one knew who you are, you couldn't take any money or anything that you've, built up over the years, all you could take is what you've learned. What would the first thing what's the first thing you'd go out and do to build, in a new market?
I would start getting involved in the community, having people start seeing my face over and over, seeing my name, door knocking. And I think social media is so massive. So even if I was starting over from the very beginning, I would rebuild up my social media.
All right, last question. Where do you see yourself 5 years from
5 years from now, oh my God, I'd be 32. I see myself owning a brokerage with a ton of agents underneath me, teaching them everything that I know, and just having my business run like a well oiled machine, maybe not being so hands on that I am today.
now? Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. Before we sign off, can you remind everyone about when the book is coming out and then how to connect with you on social and then what to do to get the free scripts?
Of course. The book is called She Closes Deals, and that is coming out the last day of July. I cannot wait to share that with everybody. But for now, you guys could follow me on social media. My Instagram is Brooke E. Coughlin. On there, you'll get book updates every day. And also, I'm providing free 50 scripts to anybody who'd like them for any case scenario that's going to pop up in real estate. All you need to do is send me a DM saying scripts, and they'll be sent directly to your inbox.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. To all of our listeners and viewers, thank you for tuning in. Please share this episode with other real estate agents, and we will see you next time.
Sounds good. Thank you.